Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to send airtime and how fallback works. So basically, I'm just going to be explaining the best approach for sending airtime and also when you need to use fallback. So fallback are special kinds of function. So similar to what we did here in payable session, like something like this. Okay, this is not really it. So basically, let me just create a sample example of what a fallback function look like. So fallback functions usually don't have the function keyword, so it could just be something as simple as receive, and they are usually external visibility and payable. So all we are doing here, we are saying that this particular contract can receive payments. So we are just enabling payments functionality within this contract. So with this, the contract can receive payments without having any special function or having any message, the data, or this function is not taking any params or it's not returning anything. So this type of function can be referred to as fallback. When you don't have this, you can also have this fallback itself. So we could do pretty much the same thing. So we're going to play around with them and see what they look like when we compile and deploy the contract. So let's start with receive. So if we do this and come to this session, then deploy this contract. So what's showing here, we are not seeing anything. So this contract is able to receive fund even though it doesn't have a fund like this one we did here deposits where we did deposits. But then you can actually receive fund in this contract. Okay, so let me uncomment and do this. So I compile and come back here and I check here, still the same thing. So nothing is showing here because it's not the normal function. These are just fallback. So especially when they just come in play, they just come into or they come in handy when you are trying to call a function that does not exist, or they are just like the name implies, it's just something to fall back on. All right. So if you have this contract can pretty much receive fund. So another thing I want to talk about is the best approach. Basically, there are different ways of receiving payments. You can do the dot transfer or dot send or dot call. So the recommended way of handling transfers is usually using this call. So what do I mean by that? I'm actually talking about what we are doing here, something similar to this. So if you come over here, okay, let me write the function first. Function of function transfer. So if I want to make a transfer, I can do this. So it doesn't know who this is. So I could just pass an address of the receiver, the tool. So I put this one over here. So since I don't want to pass in the amount here, I can pretty much say call this payable so that I can use message.value. Okay. So this why this is more recommended is because it is designed in such a way that it can easily fight against entrancy attack. So some unnecessary kind of error that you would most likely encounter when doing something like this. I know it's very common. People, when they want to handle transfer, they just do transfer and then they put the two, or they could do something like two the transfer and then put passing the value, or two dot send. Well, you don't do two dot send. Yeah, you actually can do two dot send, still almost following this pattern, but all of these are not really advisable. So the best way of handling transfer is through this approach. And then we can also deposit, just like this is here to enable us receive payments in this our contract. We can actually deposit to this contract by maybe changing this to deposits, and then we don't need to do this. We could just say we are depositing to address this, but these have to be a payable address, so we could add the payable to it. Yeah, so with this we are making deposits to this account. So now let me comment on this. Let's see if this deposit to this smart contract is actually going to work. So let's compile and redeploy. So coming back here, we see deposit. So let's go and put the value. Let's say we want to deposit 10 and then we do deposits. As you can see, there is an error. Okay. So this is an error, transacts to blah blah blah. Is reverted, fail to send ETA. Okay. So now let's try to uncomment our receive fallback, which is supposed to enable us to receive ETA. So if we uncomment this and try again, let's see whether we're still going to have that error. So we can now deploy and deposit 10. Right now 10 is being deposited because we uncommented the receive ETA. So that's to tell you that this is not here for fancy. This is important when you want to receive ETA in a contract, and maybe you are doing transfer to the contract by way of using this call method or this particular function type. But as you saw in the other video, we're also able to transfer deposit to the contract without having to do receiver, because we use this type of function to actually do that. But then this was the function we were calling to handle the transfer, and we didn't have to write all this other stuff inside for that to work. So that's how that's our fallback works, and this is the proper way you handle transfer in Solidity. All right, I hope you have learned something from this video. If you have any question, please drop it in the comments, and please do it to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.